Hello, today I want to talk about reamping. Now, not using a reamp box, but using a Boss pedal. Yes, a Boss pedal. I've seen a bunch of people do it. I've tried it out myself now and it works really well. So I want to take you through the process so you can try it yourself. Okay, so very quickly, what is reamping? If you already know all this, you just want to skip to how to use a Boss pedal. I've left timestamps in the description, so just jump to that section. So reamp is a process of taking a pre-recorded DI signal, one that you've recorded already, bringing it out of your DAW and into an amp so you can mic it up and record it again. Simple as that. Basically means that it gives you a second chance for the recording. So you can use different amps, different cabs, different microphone combinations, and essentially just allows you to commit later. Now, the usual way to do this is you would use a reamp box. And in case you're wondering why you can't just send a signal from your DAW, it's because when you come out of your interface, that is going to be at line level. Amplifiers don't like line level, they want instrument level. So if you're sending out a signal which is line level into instrument level, it's basically just not going to sound very good. It's either going to be too loud or too thin, and most likely too hot, and it's just not going to be right. So what a reamp box will do is it converts that line level signal to instrument level, so your amp is receiving the right impedance, the right level, and it's very happy. And it also means that the signal that you originally recorded is going to be replicated the best it can to be able to reamp and continue from where you left off. Now, reamp boxes can be on the pricey side. You can get some cheap ones, but you get some really good ones and they can be a little bit pricey. And they are worth the money. They are absolutely fantastic. But there is an alternative, and you can use any Boss pedal in its place. Now, one thing to mention about this is it's not perfect. You don't have much control over the level like you can on a reamp box, and you're not going to have a ground lift as well, which might not cause you any problems at all. It's actually not caused me any problems, but it's a good thing to have. But this is a really great alternative, and it does seem to do a very good job. Now, very quickly about how it works, it's all to do with the fact that all Boss pedals have a buffer in them. Now, without wanting to be too technical and to sound too complicated with it, because also I don't fully understand it either myself, to be honest, but essentially what the buffer does is anything that's being fed into this pedal, it's going to convert it into instrument level. It's going to convert it into the level and impedance that guitar pedals and amplifiers want to receive. Whether you're putting in piezo pickups or passive or active pickups, or even keyboards as well, which will often be at line level, you can chuck this into a Boss pedal and it essentially just converts it into instrument level. Now, there's lots of talk about Boss pedals saying they don't have the best buffers and it can wreck your sound and all those sort of things. Well, like I said, this isn't perfect, but it does do a great job. So if we move on to the routing and the sound examples next, I'll show you what I mean and I'll show you how to set it up. Right, so there's a few sections to the routing. This first part is looking at the level matching. What we want to do is we want to send a signal out of our interface and back into our interface and confirm that the levels are the same as the original recording that you made. So the hardware connections will go as follows. What you're going to need is you're going to need your interface, of course. Ideally, on this interface, you're going to need a second set of outputs. So you've got your main set, which are going to be for monitoring, and then another set, which is what you're going to be using for reamping. You actually only need one output because it's going to be a mono source. So in this case, I've got an Apollo Twin, and as you'll see, I'll put some little pictures up here. I've got my main outs, and then from the additional outs, I'm going to take my third output, that's output 3, connect an instrument cable and plug that into a Boss pedal. You can use any Boss pedal you like. It doesn't matter. I'm using one of these. It's just the EQ pedal. You can use a tuner if you like. It doesn't really matter. Just any Boss pedal. Now, from the output of that Boss pedal, you're going to plug that back into your interface, into the instrument level input. So this input is the same one that you recorded, ideally, so we can fully check this. It's the same one that you recorded when you recorded your original DI of the guitar. Okay, they're the hardware connections. Let's have a look at the DAW connections. Okay, now we're over in our DAW. You can use any DAW you like. I'm using Logic. Now, here is the original guitar that I recorded. I'll just show you that DI quickly. Okay, you get the idea. Now, this channel, we're going to go to the output, and this is what we're going to send to that same output that we connected to our Boss pedal. In my case, this is output line 3. Now, what you want to make sure is that the level is all the way up. So this volume here, this is what the level is going to be sending out to your Boss pedal. Make sure that is all the way up. Now, we're going to create another track, and the input of that is going to be the same input that you've taken from your Boss pedal into that. So in my case, it's input 1. So now we're going to check the level and make sure it is is very similar or trying to match the original level of that DI recording. Now, like I said, if I set that volume to unity, that should be sending the same level that it was originally recorded. Now, depending on which interface you have, you might need to adjust this. So for example, if you're coming out of a second headphone output, you'll want to set that to unity. But if it's not matching the same as the level that's coming back in, then you can adjust that accordingly. Okay, so you should be able to notice there, this level was about the same at the start, and then once I started to adjust the level, it was going lower and higher, and then I got it back to the same place. Now, here's an example of one that I matched earlier. So you can just have a little listen as it flicks between the two, so you can notice how similar they are. Like I said, with these, it's not perfect, but pretty damn good. Okay, great. I think we're ready for the next step. If you're enjoying this, please hit the like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and you'll be notified of upcoming videos. Also, if you want some free stuff, absolutely free stuff, all you need to do is sign up to the main list below. I'll send you an EQ cheat sheet and some one-shots that you can use in your mixes. Let's carry on. Okay, next up, it's now time to actually put it into an amp and do some reamping. So we're going to keep everything the same, except this time, that cable that was coming from the Boss pedal and into your interface, we're now going to actually plug it into the amp itself. As you might see, I've got my amp behind me, so that's what we're going to use. And then, now this sounds obvious, but the next step is to mic up the amp. So I've got an SM57 sitting in front of that amp now, and that is coming back into my interface. So again, we're just going to go into one of the inputs. In this case, it's input 2, but it can be whatever free input you have. Then in a DAW, make sure that on the DI channel that you're sending, that is still going to the output that's going into your Boss pedal. In my case, it's line output 3. And this additional track that you have created, this is where your microphone is coming into, so set the input accordingly. In my case, this is input 2. Next up is to hit play on your DAW so you can hear that signal being sent into your amp, and then you can adjust the level on your interface or your preamp accordingly to make sure that you're not blowing anything up and you're getting a decent level coming back in. I've already set those levels, so they're good to go. So I'm just going to hit record and then you can see it in action. Okay, and there it is. That is my reamped signal. Let's have a quick listen to that, see what it sounds like. Pretty good. And we'll just compare it to that original DI signal. Nice. Now, originally I was using an amp sim on this guitar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage that, and then we can do a little bit of an A/B just to see the difference between the two. And here we go. Lovely. I think that worked quite well. So there you have it. Reamping with a Boss pedal as your reamp box. Like I said earlier, it's not perfect. It's not a direct substitute for a good quality reamp box, especially ones which have the additional options of variable level, ground lift, and just high quality components. But it is a cheaper alternative, which actually works surprisingly well. I think it's safe to say that if you're a guitarist, there's a fairly high chance you're going to have a Boss pedal lying around the house. So it's worth digging it out and giving it a go. Whether you're choosing to use this just to delve into the world of reamping, or if you're going to go a little bit more full on with it. As it happens, I just recorded a new EP. I had done all the guitars on Amp Sim, sounded great. I just decided to give this a go, and I actually really like the results that I've decided to reamp all of the rhythm guitars using this method. So at some point in the coming months, I guess you'll get to hear the results of that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, please hit me up in the comments below. Hope this has been useful. It's been really fun for me to do. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.